position from Fermin Aldeguer. We wait for the 9 laps to start. And Lopez from the pole has made a decent start. Norridon with a good start. Taiga Hada once again on the 23 with a very good start. Hada trying to just weave his way down the inside in towards turn 1. Is he going to be brave to try and take that race lead? He's not quite able to do that. Slots into second place behind Alonso Lopez. Fermin Aldeguer once again down to third in the initial stages. Is he going to try and make a move down the inside into turn 2? He doesn't want to let his teammate Alonso Lopez get out of sight. He's going to make sure that he's up into that second position.
Yeah, good start from Taiga Hada. We said this would favour him, and it does. Will Aldeguer go for the lead? No, because he's about to be shuffled back. Through comes Taiga Hada, the 23 there, and so did Norridon. The number 7 of Adam Norridon got ahead of Patama, I think. So the Southeast Asians are absolutely having a field day at the front here. But out front, Alonso Lopez, carbon copy of race 1. He is of the first part. Sorry, he is up and running at the front, but he's got to shake off Taiga Hada. We know Taiga Hada is electric in the first stages of a race.
Yeah, Taiga Hada on the 23, trying to make sure that he's in a position to keep Alonso Lopez very honest in the early stages of this race. Ken Kubo made a good start. He's up there in about 5th position now, having gotten through on Ekky Pertama. That's a crasher for one of the stock 600 riders down the field. Easily done in these shortened races. It looks like that could be the other Orgis brother.
Kevin Orgis.
But for the rest of the field now, they're just going to make sure that with this 9-lap race that they're in a position to be able to attack all the way through. Alonso Lopez, this is a godsend for him as well, though, Kiko. He's out in front, and his main championship rival as it stands right now is teammate Fermin Aldeguer with a bit of work to do. Aldeguer, though, up into second spot. Hada's going to try and get the run on him on the exit. Not quite able to do that, but in this early stage of the race, Alonso Lopez doing exactly what he has to do. That's Taiga Hada in 3rd spot. Adam Norridon, podium man in Estoril, going to try and attack to take 3rd position here from Taiga Hada. Not quite able to do that. Action-packed opening lap.
He's back on his bike. That's good stuff from him. Let's see what happened further down the field. He's just going to tuck the front. Ooh, he tucked the front very early on. That bike is skittering through the gravel. Luckily, though, he's okay. Stumbles on his feet. But back to the front, please, if we can. Alonso Lopez was leading last time around. Is he going to be leading when we switch back?
Down at turn 8 there for Orgis, and it's still Alonso Lopez leading the way from Fermin Aldeguer. Adam Norridon has managed to get his way up into 3rd spot. Taiga Hada now under pressure from Ken Kubo. Kubo there on the number 9 machine. Very aggressive rider, Kubo, and trying to make sure that he's able to come away with another top 5 finish. That's the kind of target for the number 9 machine all the way through this season. You can see at the front of the field, though, Fermin Aldeguer, very different rider in this shorter race compared to what we saw in the early stages of the initial race. He's put the pressure on straight away here on his teammate Alonso Lopez. Further down the field, that's Taiga Hada in 4th position, under pressure from Kubo. Kubo in the early stages of this race looking very competitive, and then Lukas Tulovic, he's moved up into the top 6 on that number 3 machine. Needs to pick off those riders in front of him and come away with decent points paying positions, because once again we're seeing the Boscoscuro bikes out in front.
We are, and contrasting lines there, Steve, through the 12-13 flip-flop. Lopez runs it in very, very fast in turn 12, and he's almost off the track as he comes into turn 13, and it kind of disrupts his run through the long left-hander. For Aldeguer, he's much faster, and he's much faster right now. He's going to go through. So the number 54, Fermin Aldeguer, he is not wasting any time this time around. The number 54, he's won 2 races already this season. He's just set the fastest lap as well, and now he's in the lead. So will he be able to break Alonso Lopez? Will he be able to break Lopez's spirit? He has been fastest all weekend, really, Alonso Lopez. And now he's the one doing the chasing, and Norridon is still there in 3rd.
Yeah, and for Aldeguer out in front there on the 54, it's now a question of what Alonso Lopez can do. In Estoril, he didn't have answers for Fermin Aldeguer. Now he needs to make sure that he's able to answer straight back. But Aldeguer in this lap, able to stretch out a couple of bike lengths straight away on that number 54 machine. We know how strong he can be whenever the bike's working well. Maybe a few changes there just for himself back in the pit box have made all the difference for him. Adam Norridon doing a good job here to go with the race leaders at the early stages, and that's why he's been able to open up that bit of a gap over Taiga Hada. Taiga Hada taking a tighter line through turn 8 there just to make sure he's defensive against Ken Kubo. Early stages in the race to try and be defensive. Kubo's going to try and get a run on him, and certainly as it is right now, Kubo looks like he's got a little bit more speed than Taiga Hada at this stage.
Yeah, I'd love to see a fight with them two. I'd definitely be buying a ticket between that Hada and Kubo. They're some of the most aggressive riders in this field, but as you can see, it's only for 4th. Out front, though, Aldeguer is still ahead, but he's not really put too much time in just yet. We've still got a long lap penalty for Federico Minozzi. That's right at the back of the field. Norridin, though, is right on them as well. The front three have broken away, Steve.
Yeah, the front three breaking away. You can see Tulovic here on the number 3 machine trying to get his way back into this group as well. Kem Kubo there on the 9 just in front of Tulovic. Tulovic needs to pick these riders off quickly. We're already at 1/3 distance here, and out in front it is still a case of those leading riders all breaking away. There's only a second separating Aldeguer, Lopez and Norridin, but right now Aldeguer pushing hard to try and open that gap.
Aldeguer's got the hammer down, Steve. 36.5 last time around. That's the fastest lap of the race. 37.2 for Alonso Lopez, and then in third place
Kubo trying to go down the inside, not quite close enough there on Taiga Hada, but he's getting impatient now as well, Kiko.
Yep.
He knows that it's Tulovic behind them as well, so he's got to try and make this move quickly, because Tulovic is going to be a man that's going to try and make those moves as well.
Yeah, Harder's a bit of a buffer. We've said this so many times. He's quick in the early stages, but after 2 or 3 laps, he's just not got the pace to continue forward. Kubo, much more stable rider in terms of outright pace as they come into turn 8 now. Very, very tightly squeezed between these 4, battling for 4th place. Out front, though, the gap is around 0.6 of a second. And I've got to say, it's not looking too bad at the moment for Aldeguer, as Kubo again trying to look on the inside, but he's under pressure from Tulovic.
He's under pressure, but it is Kubo trying to make those moves. At the front, though, you can see that it is starting to just stretch out. Aldeguer doing everything he can at this stage just to try and break the spirits of his teammate, but Adam Norridin doing a really good job in 3rd position on bike number 7, just to keep those Boscoscuro bikes inside at this stage. This is what we've seen time and again in the past, where the Boscoscuro bikes are under pressure in the early stages of the race, but then pretty quickly establish themselves and open up a little bit of gap to everyone else. Kem Kubo on the number 9, using that slipstream from Taiga Hada. He needs to make this move quickly, because otherwise he's going to be under a lot of pressure from Tulovic. Into turn 1, though, Taiga Hada strong on the brakes into turn 1, able to carry that speed. For Kem Kubo, he's going to just have to try and make the move, just send it down the inside, maybe down in towards turn 2. He's able to do that. He's got to try and get down into the left-hander, able to make the move now. He's got to get his head down now, try and break away from Taiga Hada until Tulovic makes that move as well.
The problem is Harder is so strong on the brakes. Is he going to try and fight back? He had a bit of a look, but not at turn 4.
At the front of the field, we're seeing now Fermin Aldeguer really start to get his head down. He's opened up 0.8 of a second over Alonso Lopez. If you're Alonso Lopez, you set the pole time, you've set the pace all the way through this weekend. There wasn't much to choose between them. But right now for Alonso Lopez, he's looking at a much less experienced teammate, the guy that he would have expected to beat, and suddenly he's getting smaller and smaller, and it's just tougher and tougher for Alonso Lopez.
Yeah, it's just not what he wants.
Oh!
No!
We got a crash. It looks like it could be Kem Kubo that's gone down at turn 8.
Oh.
And for Kubo, that's going to be so disappointing. Trying to make sure he was able to come away with another top 5 finish. Very easy to have that crash and then run into turn 8. Very easy for the riders just to push a little bit too hard through there, trying to make a move and get themselves caught out. And you can see the disappointment there for the Thai rider. He's been a constant top 5, top 6 runner, still trying to make sure he's able to make that next step. And in this case, Kiko just pushed a little bit too hard.
You rarely see Kubo make too many mistakes like that as well. He's normally, I mean, he's not a neat and tidy rider, but he doesn't crash so often. And that is one of them corners. It's downhill braking, off camber, turn 8. It's a bit of a disaster. It's very, very bumpy as you go in there as well. So easy for the front end to wash out. 1.3 between the top 2 though, Steve. That's Tulovic. Oh, dear me. He almost rode pillion there with Taiga Hada into turn 1.
So easy to do that into turn 1 as well. You try and carry the speed through there. It's 100 miles an hour for these Moto 2 bikes, give or take, and very easy just to be a little bit too fast in there, a bit too committed. And that's also what then costs Tulovic into the next corner. He's not able to make the move into turn 2. Now he's going to try and set it up into turn 4. He's clearly faster than Taiga Hada. Hada's just able to put his bike into the right place. It's only a matter of time though until Tulovic on that number 3 machine moves himself up into 4th position. But as it stands right now, with 3.5 laps to go, the gap between Adam Norridin in 3rd position and Taiga Hada has opened up to around about 3 seconds. So even for Tulovic, if he's able to make the move on Taiga Hada, unlikely he's going to make too much more progress than 4th position. But I'll tell you what, coming into this year as one of the main title contenders, he's got to salvage a top 4 here to at least leave Valencia with some decent points. Out in front though, Fermin Aldeguer looking to leave here with another 25 points. And for Aldeguer,
now we talk about Tulovic. He's being beaten now by his teammate. Adam Norridin has already found good form around Valencia, and hopefully it's a sign of what is to come. And he's not dropped off the back of Lopez, the same as Lopez has dropped off the back of Aldeguer. There's only half a second between them.
Yeah, when you look at the pace right now, Norridin ran about a half a second slower than the race leader, but certainly just giving himself a chance. last time out in Estoril, first career podium. Taiga had with a bit of a problem there, maybe just missed a shift or something, but certainly looked over his shoulder coming down the start-finish straight. He's lost a couple of spots. He's going to be down into 6th position now, trying to see if he can answer back to Pratama in front of him. But for Taiga Hada, he's lost that progress over the last couple of laps anyway, Kiko. Now down to 6th position.
It looks like he's got is he missing a gear or something? He looks like he's got a gear problem as he's going up through the box. Has it stuck?
Well, he's shaking his head there anyway. It's the team. He looks down at the shifter, and certainly some sort of an issue there for Taiga Hada. He's going to just have to try and get through the rest of this race. There's only 2.5 laps left for the Moto 2 riders. If he's able to come away with some points in this race, then it's not too bad. He's not going to be able to. That bike's just said enough for the day, and unfortunately for Taiga Hada, a day that actually promised quite a lot for him. He's going to come up with nothing to show for looking down there at his bike for any sort of mechanical issue. But unfortunate there for Taiga Hada. Out in front though, still Aldeguer from Luco. Fermin Aldeguer, he's really stretched out, very different to what we saw last time out in Estoril, but also really impressive to see the progress he made from the initial start. Yeah,
he wasn't looking like this in the first start, and it's just going to be so demoralising for Alonso Lopez. I mean, he's second again to his teammate, and to his teammate who's younger than him, who's only 16, he's never been on a Moto 2 bike before. He knows the tracks, he knows the championship, but he doesn't know. Adam Norridin still chasing down Lopez. It's just under a second. It's hovering just under a second. I can't imagine that things are going to change too much between them unless Lopez just gets a bit complacent, but we haven't seen that so far either.
Yeah, the gap now 2.5 seconds for Lopez to make up to Aldeguer, so that's gone, but it's around a second between himself and Adam Norridin, so needs to just make sure that he's able to avoid making a mistake on the final lap. But for Norridin, I'd say he's going to be pretty happy to settle for another podium. Second podium in a row for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff from Norridin. It'd be his first back-to-back podiums. Well, not back-to-back podiums, but 2 podiums out of 3 is not bad. But a good shout out here for Alex Toledo, running there very, very strongly in 6th. That's the best we've seen of him. And also Andy Verdoya there in 9th and Sam Wilford in 10th. So both of them breaking into the top 10 further down the order.
Yeah, and certainly for the likes of Toledo, he was the rider that was taking the fight in the Stock 600 class to Fermin Aldeguer last year. And they had a real battle all the way through the season. So we know he's got talent, but now trying to make that next step. This is Lukas Tulovic, and he's been able to just break away a little bit from Ekky Dimas Pratama. But at this point in the race, Tulovic 13 points. When you're looking at Fermin Aldeguer picking up 75 points potentially from these opening 3 races of the year, it's an absolute mountain to climb now for Lukas Tulovic. You're looking at the rider that is separating himself out from the rest of the Moto 2 European Championship class. Fermin Aldeguer on that number 54 machine. Right now though for Alonso Lopez, a lap to go, Kiko. He's got to make sure he picks up that 20 points per second. 15 points between the 2 teammates isn't an insurmountable amount at this stage of the season. He's keeping his teammate honest. That's all he can really do right now.
Well, the thing is, what Lopez has got to do is he's just got to score the best points he possibly can, because it's okay Aldeguer going off and winning like this, but one mistake from Aldeguer and a victory for Lopez and the title's back on, and that's how Lopez has got to be thinking. He can't be thinking that he's defeated, that he's down and out already. We're only on round 2. That he is going to have his time to shine in the sun.
Yeah, and certainly for Alonso Lopez, a podium man in the Moto 3 World Championship a few years ago in Thailand. We know he's got speed. We know he's going to get opportunities to win races throughout this season. He's actually adapted very well to a Moto 2 bike as well. And I think in normal circumstances, you'd look at it and you think he's been a fantastic first couple of rounds on the bike. But whenever you look at this man, he's redefining what you mean by fantastic. Fermin Aldeguer jumped onto a Moto e-bike last week in Jerez and have 1-2 for the Boscoscuro team and a second podium in the season for Adam Norridin. And in the Moto 2 class, we've been able to see these riders immediately separate themselves in the early rounds of the year. Lukas Tulovic comes across the line, picks up 13 points in 4th position, but certainly not what Tulovic would have been looking for in the early stages of this season.
Yeah, Tulovic, he's got to get back on that podium. He's got to start taking it not just to the Boscoscuros, but to his teammate as well. Great 1-2 for the Boscoscuros again. They're clearly the team to beat. Another fantastic victory, though, for the number 54, the 16-year-old Fermin Aldeguer. make a note of the name because it's going to be prominent.
Further down the field, Alex Eskrig able to claim the stock 600 honours once again, and matching what he did last time out in Estoril. He's had a really strong start to the season, able to take that race victory by round about 2 seconds from the next stock 600 rider. So a really impressive performance. Mika Perez, he'll be on the podium once again in the stock 600 class. But for Fermin Aldeguer, we're once again seeing just how strong he can be on a Moto2 machine. And for Aldeguer, this is just another example of why a lot of people in the Grand Prix paddock have taken notice of him as well. But certainly, as it is right now, Alonso Lopez knows that 3 podiums in a row, 320 points in a row, he's got his work cut out to make up that ground on Fermin Aldeguer. But he's had a solid start to his Moto2 season. He's got a little bit of a wait until the next round of the Moto2 European Championship, but he's got a bit of time to think about what he's going to have to do to try find some answers to Fermin Aldeguer. The same can be said for Lukas Tulovic there on the number 3 machine. He's been able to come away with a 4th place finish, but certainly for Tulovic, he would have expected a little bit more from these early season races. Obviously, we know Estoril is always a really strong circuit for him, and Valencia hasn't always been a happy hunting ground, but certainly for Tulovic, he'll be disappointed to have been beaten by 5.5 seconds from his teammate Adam Norridon. Alonso Lopez makes his way back to